today's major monsoon storm is our top story this evening.
Yeah, throughout the day we saw dangerous flooding, we saw strong winds, rain, a little bit of everything, even some snow in some parts of the state, and flooding is still causing some issues late tonight. Right now, crews responding to multiple water rescues in the valley. SkyFOX flying over one of those scenes near Hayden and McKellips tonight in Scottsdale.
And this weather is causing some issues at Sky Harbor Airport. The airport was on a ground stop for several hours. In fact, 500 flights were delayed at one point today, and dozens of others were canceled due to the weather. And meantime, the SkyTrain also having some trouble. It stopped running, and travelers had to use buses to get from the SkyTrain stations to the terminal.
Meantime, utility crews are working to get the lights back on for everyone tonight. At the peak of today's storm, there was more than 10,000 outages reported between SRP and APS. That number now down to around 2,000, so it has improved. A majority of those are among SRP customers.
And we've got full team coverage for you tonight following this major monsoon storm.
Yeah, in just minutes, we'll check in with Lauren Clark tonight following how the Sun Devil fans are handling the elements. Plus, we'll check in with our Fox 10 weather experts with our first look at the rainfall totals.
But first, let's get to Taylor Wirtz. She joins us live from Scottsdale, where we are still seeing a lot of calls for flooding and a lot of rescues out there.
Yeah, Mark and Christina, we've been here for several hours now, and the air here at El Dorado Park has been bone dry for a while, but this parking lot is still an absolute lake, just like it was when we checked in with you at 7 o'clock. As we explained earlier, there's several ponds here in the park, and combined with all that rain we saw, it created this pretty much running river. And I know it's dark, but if we can zoom in a little off to the left there, you might be able to make out the very top of a white car that sadly had to be abandoned by its owner earlier today when she attempted to drive through waters that weren't even as high as the ones that we're seeing now. But the crazy thing is, this isn't even the only trouble spot today. It seemed that no matter where we went in the valley, people were dealing with water. Water rescue isn't a phrase often heard in Arizona, but Friday, it was a theme.
Seeing a lot of flooding right now, man. Seeing some crazy flooding.
Not sure exactly how we're going to get out of here, but hopefully it drains somewhere.
For Lydia, who works near 20th Street and University Drive in Phoenix, her warehouse started to take on water.
We started flooding. It started coming through the doors, through the dock doors, and I was like, this is not right. I called maintenance. Maintenance is like, yeah, we're flooding everywhere. We have like 6, 7 warehouses. Yeah. 2 of them flooded that I know of.
For a woman at El Dorado Park in Scottsdale, it was her car that was a casualty when she followed another car through the flooded parking lot and hers stalled.
It just stopped. Like, it didn't want to go back or front. It just stopped.
Her friends tell me she had to be rescued by the fire department, but she wasn't the only one.
We got cars that are going down. People need to be helped.
Firefighters could be seen all over the valley helping with water rescues, with police officers wading through floodwaters to direct traffic and close roads. While the weather in Arizona is never boring, people we spoke with today admitted all this was on another level.
It rains a lot, but not like this. Something different.
And as you can see, authorities earlier tonight finally put up some barriers to make sure that no one else drives into these floodwaters, because even though my photographer and I, Laura, were looking around, we think the water levels have gone down a little bit over the past few hours since we got here. There is still nowhere near anywhere safe to drive through this park, so avoid the area at all costs. I want to toss things over to Corey, though, who's been tracking the rainfall totals from tonight. Corey?
Yeah, it's been a busy night all across the state. And thanks for all the hard work out there with you and Laura. Now, we'll take a look at how things are going statewide at the moment. And you can see most of the action has now started to push itself off to the east of the valley. And believe me, no one is sad to see it go. Over the next couple of days, we're going to see a much quieter Arizona, that's for sure. But there's still a possibility for additional rainfall as we make our way into tomorrow. Here are the lingering flood warnings that we've still got going out there. So especially the East Valley and then on over into the Florence area and Miami Globe. It's still busy. So again, additional rainfall could certainly cause problems, although there's not much chance for additional rainfall, at least in the next several hours, as we look across the valley and points nearby. Most of the action has now moved itself off to the north and east of us. We're looking at the last 18 hours of radar here because it so nicely illustrates how this heavy weather began in the mountains, but as we got to the daytime hours, look how it raked its way across the valley, just storm after storm. And we haven't seen weather like this in quite a while, but what's left is over here around CBQ and pushing up across Route 260 and headed eventually toward the 40. But we can certainly say that today's rain has gone a long way toward bulking up our monsoon totals. It's sort of a late run at those numbers. And for all of that info, swing things over to Ashley. How you doing?
Hey, yeah, after this stormy system, I'm doing pretty okay. And you know what? Here's a look at some of the rain totals that we picked up. Phoenix Sky Harbor, 1.64 inches of rain. Now, according to the National Weather Service, and really according to MAP, that's 2/3 of the monsoon total average, which is roughly at around 2.43. So not too bad. Nothing record-breaking, but we're going to show you compared to the last monsoon seasons how in comparison that's pretty big. So where do we stand right now? Well, just adding up all the numbers and the totals from the start of this monsoon season to the end, which we're just a couple days away from ending things, we're now a little over 2.5 inches of rain. So we're actually above average now for the monsoon season. Again, seasonal average is around 2.43 inches. So above average as we wrap up this season. Taking a look at years past, well, the driest on record was 2023. We picked up nearly 3/4 of an inch for monsoon 2024, and now with 4 days left of monsoon season 2025, again, nearly a little over 2.5 inches, I should say, of rain. So I guess you can say that's impressive, especially with those quote-unquote monsoon seasons that we had. And it looks as though even past the season, we're still looking at some above average rain, and you can see that with our precipitation outlook. The Climate Prediction Center just released this today. All these areas that you see highlighted in green, that does include us here in Phoenix, the Valley, along southeastern Arizona, Tucson as well. The green means that we're looking at more rain potential. So this is actually for October 4th through the 10th. So again, we are not done with the rain even beyond the season, but remember, we picked up a little over an inch of that rain. And of course, we're going to be taking a look at how much more rain we could potentially get, what the rest of this weekend is looking like, coming up in just a few minutes with Corey.
All right, Ashley, thanks. We love to see those numbers. That is nice. Yeah. Now, this was not so nice, though. A muddy mess in Scottsdale. Take a look at this video from SkyFOX. You see a lot of that water there flowing in the wash, kicking up all that dirt and debris on Camelback and Hayden, covered in mud. A wild sight there following this storm. It was rough driving around today, that's for sure.
Yeah, the roads, it was tough to drive out there. So this might be the best video of the day. That sums it all up right there. He's having a blast, this kid, and his father out there taking advantage of the storm. Caught on camera riding that boogie board at El Dorado Park in Scottsdale. We spoke with the father-son duo who said they look forward to the weather just like this.
We just love the weather. We're grateful that we live right here next to this awesome park, and when it floods like this, yeah, we just try and soak it up and take advantage of it.
No, I like it.
I love it.
I want to swim in it.
I love it.
When it's practice for the tasty waves when we go to California and go boogie boarding out there.
Nice. Yeah, just hop in the bath when you get back, you know, get all the dirty water off of yourself. They say that they decided to throw on their wetsuits because it was a bit cold. How about that?
All right, a lot of talk about the rain, but could you hear that there? That was also hail. In fact, we had hail in quite a few places today. Our viewer Bailey sending us this video from Chandler.
The storm also kicking up some dust. So this was our ADOT camera near State Route 347 and Maricopa Road this afternoon. This time lapse shows the wall of dust moving through. It kind of crosses the highway here and then kind of fizzles away.
And the craziest sight, probably one of them today, may have been to our north. Yeah, that is snow. and it is September.
Oh my gosh.
What a beautiful sight from Arizona Snow Bowl.
Yeah, look at that. We got everything today. Arizona Snow Bowl sharing this video today from the top of their gondola, and you can see the flurries coming down.